white. And let's come right up here to the top and just do a nice, shiny, beautiful blue sky today. And maybe work it right along, just like this, and then allow it to blend down. Nothing too crazy today. Now, as you can see, I have 3 colors mixed up here. A nice light gray-green color. Then I just started adding a little bit of black and brown to it. And what this is going to do is just give us a lot of beautiful depth in our painting. Maybe a little more blue into that color. Nice. I got to explain about color here. See, the things that have more blue and are more pale look further away in the distance. And then as you come forward, throw some red, some brown, some green in your color, and that's what gives you depth. Also make the colors slightly darker. See that? Keep them really nice and light here in the background. Just creating rolling hills. So slightly darker here, and do another one. Now, as you can see, I went ahead and just took a little bit of brown and sketched in a little basic building, and look at this nice ravine here with some rocks. I think that'll be interesting. So now I'll just take the filbert brush, a little bit of green, touch of black, touch of brown, and let's rub in some distant trees. See that? And just rub them right in. I don't know how many layers we want. We'll just sort of start working at it. All right. See that? Just scrub them right in. Now this is kind of a special scene. Recently, a few days ago, I got back from a trip to Yosemite, and on the way up, there was this beautiful little farm right on the side of the road. And we passed right by it, and I looked over and thought, wow, that's a nice little, that would be a nice painting. Didn't have my camera out, so I sketched it later, because I still remembered what it looked like. So I'm kind of making up the colors here. It was kind of winter. It's very brown, so I'm going to put in a little more green than there actually was, but this is very similar to the scene I saw. Now with our 1-inch brush and a little bit of green, yellow, brown, black, and blue, let's just brush in a nice underpainting back here. Now, as you can see, it's not overly dark. You know, normally we like to do those underpaintings that are almost pure black, but not right now. We'll want to do that later. Right now, I want to see some color. Don't want it just pure black. And then maybe over here, as we get closer to the foreground, see it gets quite a bit darker. And that creates some depth in this little meadow. And switch it up. Put more green in it some places and more yellow in it some places, because, oh, there's a lot of nice colors in grass. It's not just one flat color. Put so many beautiful colors in there. Very little paint. See, if you get too much paint on here, oh, it's tough to highlight. I'll show you how to highlight it and give you a couple tips to hopefully make your painting experience a little more enjoyable. Now with our 1-inch brush and a mix of yellow, touch of brown, green, and of course some white to make it all nice and bright and shiny, we can just begin to add on some beautiful highlights back here. Now maybe in the background, let's go just a tiny bit lighter and brush it on. Okay. Then as we come forward, we'll just begin tapping to create that beautiful texture. Don't want to start the texture too early. Now something here that's very important. If your highlights are not coming off your paintbrush, doesn't look like this, then what you need to do before you start thinking what's wrong with the brush and what's wrong with the paint and all that, ask yourself what's wrong with the background, because that's usually where the problem is. If the highlights are not coming off the way that you see them here, then I always look to the background, because usually I've got too much wet, slippery paint down. You got to take a paper towel and wipe it down so that you have a stain, just a stain. Anything more and it slides around your highlights. They don't stick as easy, although they usually do stick for you a little bit. But make things easier, and you have more freedom to do all sorts of nice things. Now with our filbert brush and some yellow, brown, and white, we can go ahead and start right here. Begin to shape some beautiful beautiful highlights here on this, well, I guess it's like a little ravine here. Now, I know I want a ton of rocks here today. A lot of nice boulders and things. But I'm going to start out just with the dirt area, the ground. Okay. Loosely just block it in, blend it in, and see I'm creating these little ridges. Very important. This kind of gets a little flatter as it comes out. Maybe it's not really steep over here. And then down this area, it'll be a lot steeper. Okay. Now with our 1-inch brush and some green and black, let's just block in this little area down here. See, we sort of left an area open. And I knew we were going to come back in here and throw some beautiful grasses and all sorts of nice things. All right. Now, I don't know if in the original scene that I looked at there was this area. It's a little bit of grass. And I kind of think this ravine just continued. But when I was sketching it out, I put this grassy layer in. I think we'll throw some trees here because it helps to sort of stop your eye and frame in the picture on this side. So that's the reason. Now with our filbert brush and some brown and a touch of red, maybe a little bit of this light color just sitting around, we're going to have some real fun now. Ready for this? Just paint in our little barn up here. We've waited all this time. Now we're finally getting to it. Now, there is a reason for this. There's a little tip for you. I enjoy doing my buildings closer to the end. See, I just sort of left it open. The reason I like to do them at the end is because I can tie in all the colors around it. So I know what color my landscape is. I know what color this little ravine is, the trees. And I can make this barn fit in the painting. It'll look like one piece of art. I have painted buildings before in the past where I do the building first, where the building very early on, and it kind of looks out of place. So I find it very useful just to go ahead and do the building closer to the end, but you do whatever works for you. I'm okay. As long as it works for you and you like it and you're happy, go for it. Why not? Now with our liner brush and a very thick mixture of black, brown, and white, we'll just carefully stroke on some details here. Now this is actually working out pretty well. There's so little paint there on the canvas that I'm seeing texture through these brush strokes, and also I'm able to kind of touch it without messing it up too much. As long as you don't hit any of the different colors and drag it in, then you should be fine. You can actually set your finger down on the painting without ruining it. We also do this when we paint birds and things in the sky. But if you need to brush it out later, you can. Now we can work on putting just a little bit of color here on the roof. Now I have a nice light blue-gray color. I'm going to make a metal roof. Just little panels of metal. Maybe we'll throw some rust on just with a little bit of brown. That's easy. For now, just work on the shape and the details here. To add the rest, just a touch of brown right onto the tip of the brush and just stroke it right in. You can make little square panels if you want to. I think that would look nice. Now with our fan brush, we can work on a few little evergreens up here. I gave myself a line. Now we're just dabbing and dotting and working our way across the tree, left and right. Oh, and you'll get a lot of beautiful, beautiful effects. There, not much paint in the background, so it doesn't take much to go over this. If you have too much paint in the brush, what will happen is you'll get very solid limbs. They look just like they're completely straight. They have nothing going on. They're very flat. We want all this rough texture. That's what we're looking to get. So keep that in mind as you paint. Now with our liner brush and a thin mixture of some brown and black, we can drop in a nice fence that comes forward here and toward the foreground area. And I like that. I think it looks really interesting. And of course the fence gets larger and wider as it comes here, as it gets closer to us. All right. Now we can go ahead and add some beautiful highlights to these evergreen trees. I'm going to use the filbert brush today. You could use the fan, whatever works better for you. I'm just choosing the filbert. And I'm going to vary the greens through a little bit of yellow, orange, white in this mix. A lot of nice things going on in here. This tree is in front. See that? Now, it's very important here that you leave the dark areas in there. You probably heard me say it a lot of times. But it's important. Without the dark, all would look flat. Now, just in case you over-highlight a tree, because sometimes you're going and then you stand back and you look at it and you know you went a little too far. What you can do is load up the brush, fan brush or filbert, whatever you were using, with some black and simply punch some of those highlights right back. Create some darks again. And your problem's solved. Pretty easy. Now we'll just take a few minutes here to drop in a few final details. Now if you remember, I think this is kind of like a little area of land with some grass growing up. There was a lot of tall grass around that area. A lot of meadows. Oh, it's beautiful farmland. So, this is the grass. You'd be surprised how tall it can get. There was some grass that was almost as tall as I am. So it was interesting to see that close. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out